Oh, I see. So when you hit it, it does it automatically. I didn't have to do anything. Okay. Hi. Welcome. Welcome to the show. We're in the building. So before we get started, we are trying some new features for this 2024. And the only way to try them is to play with
Try
them
them.
when you're live. So that's
Hmm.
what we're doing right now.
I like live play, meaning playing with this. Yeah.
Yeah. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show where anything will be said and anything will be done live and in living color. I am Bryson. I'm your hostess with the mostest of Sweet Spot Media. You can catch me at the original Bryson. You can catch me at Sweet Spot Media. Can you guys go like my Sweet Spot Media page? I know it's a little lame right now, but I promise if you like the page, you'll see more content in the very, very near future. Because
That's right.
the administrator of the show makes sure I'm on my P's and Q's and that I'm doing what I need to do and what I'm supposed to do, not only just for for the show for our team, but for myself. And I am grateful for Angel Simmons. And with that being said, I want to
Yes.
bring her out. Bring them out. Bring them out. I want to bring out Angel Simmons. And hey, hey,
Oh, different music, but it's okay.
y'all was jamming.
Two
Y'all,
different
y'all,
songs.
y'all was jamming. Y'all was jamming.
Or
Wow.
either that's just a deep reflection that I can't dance. She had the beat right, and I was on
I'm
something else.
not gonna
I
say nothing.
mean,
I'm just
I'm
grateful to be here.
grateful to
All
be
right,
here.
come on, man.
Grateful to be here in the building. Introduce yourself, Angel.
My name is Angel Simmons. I am a relationship coach. I am a mental health advocate, an educator, and author of Love's Great Design, as well as Target of Love, which you can get in paperback. You can get in paperback, as well as digital on Amazon. If you like autographed copies, you can find me at angelsimmons.com and get other things such as brand merchandise, bookmarks, and things of that nature. And there's going to be some new stuff coming to the website for the month of love. So keep watching. Keep watching Love's Great Design page, and you might find some goodies to share with your most special someone.
I hear that voice now. I hear your voice. I hear that voice. Don't start now. I won't be now in this here 2024 with your bedroom pillow talk voice now. Don't do that.
Okay,
Hmm.
I'll be good.
Mm,
Good at what I do.
mm, mm. If you can't
I
be
don't know. It's
good,
an
be
old
good
song
at
that
it.
says it's an old song that says when I'm good I'm bad, when I'm bad I'm better.
Mm,
Ooh.
Shout out to Renee and Angela. That's a jam.
mm. Angela.
That is a
Uh,
jam. Um, let's flip the script a little bit. Angel, introduce that handsome man next to you. Bring him out.
Oof. Listen, to my right is the one and only LeAnzar Stockley, relationality specialist, licensed mental health professional, support group facilitator, author of 3 published works that you can get on his website. Pop it up, leanzarstockley.com. Friends to all, hashtag I am love for you.
did she
She got
freeze?
she got the Holy Ghost.
I froze, but I'm back. I froze, but I'm back. But you can also find him at Underneath by Czar. If you need something under your garments, you can get something
Under your
under
knee.
your garments. you can get something from underneath. LeAnzar. If you want something over your garments, you can find something from
Over your sheath.
I am love for you. Relationality. You can find hoodies, beanies, sneakers, t-shirts, caps, whatever it is. So he gonna cover you from head to toe,
Covered.
and he's gonna cover you in love. This is my brother, LeAnzar Stockley.
How you doing, ladies?
Mm.
How y'all doing? How you doing, gentlemen?
Jesus, here we go.
How you doing, world? Glad to be here. Thank you for that introduction. One and only Angel Simmons, folks. Let me hear it for her.
Bah, 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 bah. I'll be practicing.
New
I'll
Year.
be practicing, y'all.
Happy New Year, folks.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, Bry.
Happy New Year, y'all. Happy New Year. Speaking of New Year, we are 3 weeks in the game already. It's almost February. We have made it through this polar plunge that we were in. We got a heat wave coming this week in Chicago, 30s and 40s, and we'll take it.
Ooh, Shonda.
Will it be there by Friday?
It will. It will. It'll be here tomorrow.
Yeah,
It'll be here tomorrow.
I'll be in town Friday. I'm coming in. I'm coming into the Shy on the 20th.
But will we see you?
I don't know about that, but I'm coming. I'm gonna be. I'm just gonna be there. I got to be there for ordination, a very special ordination on the Sunday coming.
Okay.
Mhm.
When
Beautiful, beautiful.
Sunday
Yes.
come,
Sing, Daryl.
By way of Angel.
gown.
Gonna get it. Gonna get it. As
soon
there you go.
as it gets here,
We don't own the rights to this music.
I have a new song.
Don't stop now.
When I ain't practiced this.
Woo! You ain't
That
need no
was just
practice.
off memory. Off memory.
Seem like you didn't need no practice. See?
Just off memory.
See? When you got the anointing.
When you got the who?
The anointing.
The ointing.
Yeah, she got that ointment.
The ointing. Speaking of beginning of the year, January, do you guys get into New Year's resolutions or
No.
those type of things, or maybe set some goals? Maybe not specify it as a resolution. Set some goals, or how do you recenter for the new year, or do you just kind of keep going with the flow and doing whatever's clever?
I keep on going with the flow and doing whatever's clever. I really
I just
do.
try to be better.
I ain't got much better to get. No.
I did set some business goals, some professional goals. Actually, I set some relational goals too as well. I'm rocking my Explore More shirt because that's how I feel this year. I need to get out.
We can't do it. No, come on now. Oh, somebody.
My Explore More shirt
Mhm.
because I want to be outside.
Come on now.
Last year I started the new year with a bunch of car truck.
Oh.
Yeah, and I don't really feel like I got to go very many places. So
Mhm.
this year, it's in my mind to get out, go explore.
As a woman thinketh, so is she. Get out there.
Get out there. I'm going outside, y'all. And I've already been outside
Yeah,
quite a
yeah.
bit for it to be the first 3 weeks. I've been outside a little bit. So
That's what's up.
hey.
Look at there. Look at there.
Hey, Jocelyn.
Let me tell y'all how I have evolved and starting playing with this StreamYard and everything. I'll be pushing buttons. Look at me, watch me push another
I
one.
saw you.
Bam.
I saw that. I saw that. We need some shenanigans, Jocelyn. We gotta catch up.
So with no real, how would you do you feel like maybe setting resolutions are a farce?
You know what? I don't think it's a farce for some people who who actually stick to them. I guess you know. I just always. I'm not a New Year's person, honestly. I'm generally. I use. You know how people feel that heaviness during like some people I should say feel heaviness during the rest of the holidays like Thanksgiving, Christmas, whatever. That's how I am New Year's. It's kind of like I can pass it because it never made sense to me how people go in with all of these new resolutions, right? They're going to be on these diets, they're going to stop drinking, they're going to stop whatever, and then they bring the year in drunk, and so it's never it's never really made very much sense to me. But at the same token, I have seen some people who have said this is what I'm doing for this next year, and they've stuck with it. So I feel like, man, it's for people that it worked for. Those things have never worked for me, never. But that's not even just at New Year's. I tell people all the time, like, I don't even have goals. I don't think like not long term. And it's like I practice, because I follow, the great Dr. Winnie the Pooh, prophet, bishop, elder, philosopher, and Greek guru, Dr. Winnie the Pooh, who says doing
Hmm.
nothing leads to the very best of something. And so I've been practicing the doing nothing, and I have been productive.
Dr. Pooh.
Dr. Pooh. hmm
Hmm.
And I've looked back over my life, and I look back on my wall,
And you think things over.
and I've been productive in doing nothing.
Mm.
It's
Hmm.
led to the very best of some things. So, but I don't think that they're necessarily a farce. I think they work for who they work for. I think people have good intentions. I think that just like with anything, though, life then starts to happen, or we think we wanted something, and the representative was speaking, and it just didn't kind of come through for some folks. And again, there's those that it do. Just not my thing.
Hmm.
I believe it should
Gotcha.
be
What about you, Angel?
within our resolve at all times to strive to be better, to be intentional about loving more, giving more, doing more for others. And that's not something that should take precedence at the beginning of the year. That's something that we should be working on daily, weekly, monthly. It should be
hmm
our heart's cry and
hmm
not so much a celebratory annual intention. But if it
hmm
is if you are intentional about that, about striving, about thriving versus striving, then that's something that your heart will always be pushing you towards.
Yeah, I agree. And if anything, if you're reset, I feel like that should be your birthday.
Hmm.
That's good.
You know,
Hmm.
That's
but
when
I'm
most
just
people take time to do that reflection. Is
yeah,
that annual circle, that revolution? They don't do it at the beginning of the year. They do that when that number change.
yeah. I like what you said though too, like their intentions. Even more than saying be better, to be more intentional. Just to be more intentionally aligned to whatever it is that you feel within your spirit that you really want to be. And so it's like it's not even necessarily that there's something wrong with me that I need to become better and whatever. I just need to be more present with life, more intentional, more living from who I am versus how I'm having to be, conformity
Mhm.
or whatever, and just kind of standing in my whatever. So I love that word, that intentionality. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's really good. Jocelyn says that my birthday and New Year's are 2 days apart, so it's always a respective time for her.
Uh,
Cool, cool, cool. Yeah, she's just that falls in order for you.
yeah.
Um,
But she's perfect. I mean, I don't even know what more can we get from Joss.
Not another lick of nothing.
Not another.
Not another lick of nothing.
Yeah.
We knew what you meant.
Hey, that's my guy right there, y'all.
See, we knew what you meant.
That's
Even when
my
you
dude.
heard a different word, we knew it.
Intentionally aligned. That I will take with me. Take it with you. Take it with you,
Take it.
friend.
You can have it's free. It's free.
Take-
It's free.
it's free.
put it in your back pocket.
Or your front pocket.
Put it in your front pocket. So you
Put
can
it in
really,
all your pockets.
so
Just
you
don't
can
get it
really,
And
mistaken
if you
for
don't,
something else.
and if you don't have no pockets, put it in your sock, like my
Is that
daddy used to
intention
do
in your
with his
pocket, or are you
money.
just happy to see me?
I'll take attention every day. My.
That's my guy Marcus, y'all.
I think that's a great that's a great view. That's a great outlook. Intention, people take that word for granted. I feel like you like when you call everybody your friend. Oh, this is my friend. So this,
Yeah.
everybody's not your friend. You might know that person. Y'all might be cool. Y'all might be cool, but your friend. You know what I mean? Might be your associate. Might be your colleague. Might be your coworker. Might be the homie. Might be the work boo, whatever, but not your friend.
Hmm.
So let's stop using that word intention so loosely. But intention does tie in to something that I was thinking about um, earlier this week, based off a conversation, that I had with someone else. Did I introduce the show? Did I say this was the
No,
show?
kinda, but kinda.
Hey y'all, everybody, this is the show. Welcome,
Welcome to the show.
welcome to the show. I just popped in my brain right now. Welcome to the show. We've been doing this a couple of years. We are super happy to be back here for 2024. It is truly a blessing, a privilege, an honor for me to work with LeAnzar Stockley and Angel Simmons, respectively. They bring me so much joy. They bring me so much insight. They bring me so much peace, in so many different areas. So, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to the show.
Right.
Now, back from what I was saying. Um, Intention and purpose, based on a conversation that I was having, and something that always is kind of flowing through my mind on a regular basis. Um, Executing compassion is what stood out to me this week. Um, a lot of
Executing
people,
compassion.
yeah,
Okay.
you know, and executing, um, not in the grimy way, right? Execute has different definitions. We're not murdering or getting rid of compassion, but following through and enforcing, this compassion. That is the form of executing that we're speaking of today. So executing it, just being real with it and not feeling soft when it's present,
Come
not
on.
feeling like you're less than when you feel compassion or someone displays compassion towards you. Um, Compassion has often been known to be soft, sensitive, a feminine trait, and maybe just not cool. Um, but what's truly preventing and blocking compassion? I think it's uncertainty. I think it's fear of vulnerability. I think it's certain levels of insensitivity. I think there are levels of trauma.
Hmm.
Um, I think it's fear on its own. I think it's grudges. I think it's the inability to forgive. I think it's a lack of self awareness because people. Is your hand up?
Mm-mm.
Oh,
I just had to fix my lighting.
oh, okay. I think people have such a hard time with executing compassion because it shows a little more of, hey, Greg, it shows a little more of your inner and your core and your true self, when you do it obviously properly. What are your thoughts, guys, on this? Just really, it kind of nags at me. What do you guys think?
I think the word that you used that stood out to me was fear. Most people have a problem, I believe, executing compassion because they feel like somebody's going to get over on them.
Mm-hmm.
We've been taken advantage of so often, and in so many different spaces that we have a difficult time granting grace when it's really needed. Maybe because we didn't get the grace when we needed it, or maybe we've extended it so much that people just walk all over it. I think a lot of that starts with fear, though, because you don't want to be hurt, you don't want to be let down, you don't want to be, like I said, taken advantage of or used as a doormat. So you're gonna give it in pieces. Um, as less is needed. Less is
Mm.
more in that case. And it's really more about protecting ourselves than it is about granting that grace that people need.
Hmm. Yeah.
So it's kind of a level of selfishness, really.
You said it. You said it. You said it. I was going to kind of not go there, but you kind of said it. But no, I agree. I agree 100%. It's like there, and I actually just asked the question to some people the other day. You know, our fears, the different fears that sort of come up from us actually being what's natural to our being. And and compassion is one of those things that technically, when we start peeling back all of the layers, is natural to who we are. It's natural to our being. But I think that because we've lived these lives the way you said, we've lived these lives and having to be so guarded, so protected, so actually let me not say guarded, so protected. All right, because I use guard a different way these days. But we've had to be so protected, and people have been like Angel saying, people have been taken advantage of, and so we're in survival mode. And when we're in survival mode, it's very difficult to get into those vulnerable spaces to suffer with, because the word compassion, that's what the word compassion means. Compassion actually means to suffer with. Right. So it's not just this whole sympathy thing, or I feel sorry for you. It's actually get in the trenches with. It's the real deal of, let me bear your burdens with you, like with you, not for you, but let me bear your burdens with you. And so getting in that space, for a lot of people, they have a hard time even being compassionate with themselves, you
Mm-hmm.
know, but
Mm-hmm.
it's because of that
Mm-hmm.
fear of vulnerability. It's that fear that you said it earlier, Bryson, you said, people view it as, when we hear some of these words, we think of it as soft. And God forbid we be soft.
Hmm.
Do you know what I mean? It's like, so it's like we live in a culture that pride itself on what we call strength, which oftentimes is just hardness, but strength and just get up and go and get over it, and whatever. So then we don't want to sit anywhere that feels somewhat uncomfortable, because even when you think about the emotional aspect to it, we want to hurry up and get out of sadness, but we're fine staying in happiness or trying to pursue it forever, right? And what people don't realize is that also can be a delusion, a delusional state, to stay in this, think you're going to be happy all the time. And so instead of pursuing contentment, but we're not comfortable with the non feel good emotions. And so if you come to me, I'm going to try to find the quickest way to hurry up and get you to stop feeling what you're feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And so by me coming sometimes to search for the quickest way to get you to stop feeling what you're feeling, I'm not even taking time to drop into that empathy, to be with you in it, and then we try to figure out a problem, a solution together. So it's just, let me hurry up and try to pull you up out of there.
Hmm.
But I think it's a fear of I think we have a fear as people of vulnerability, including our own, towards ourselves.
Absolutely. The one thing you don't want to do is get in the trench with somebody to feel what they feeling and then start feeling your own stuff.
Hmm. Hmm.
Or get in that trench with someone to block your own pain. Well, I like to help people because I don't have to worry about what's
I don't
going
want
on
to deal
with
with
me,
mine. Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, because I'm not sure you can healthily uh, help somebody, truly. Greg, I see you. Fear is based on past hurts and walls we have built in us, which don't allow us to love our fullest.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. A lot of us are half-assed in love. I mean, if we really be honest with it,
Yeah.
we're half-assing it. And it's not because, oh, shame on you, you're a horrible person for doing it. It's just that people have had histories, and somewhere in those histories, something has happened to now try to stop your heart from flowing the way that it was designed to flow. Right. And that's what I when I retracted when I said We've had to live protected and guarded. So I decipher between living, having protecting your heart versus guarding your heart. Protecting your heart, there's nothing get in, nothing get out. All right, and is I'm ready to shoot everything that comes. Guarding my heart is doing what's necessary to keep it flowing the way it was designed to flow. It doesn't necessarily keep out things, but it doesn't let toxicity um, plant itself there. So then because there's no way you're gonna walk this world and not get a germ. All right, so it's not letting it plant itself there, and that's the really true guarding my heart. But it's I agree with him 100%. It's based off of our past hurt, our experience, and either that, and whether that's been direct or indirect, meaning I just witnessed how people can do each other. Some of my first fears growing up came from what I saw, not what was actually being done to me.
Mm-hmm.
It came from what I saw, and I was in some sense traumatized.
Mm-hmm. I love that you kind of just went straight into traumatization, um, because in this, many of us have learned how to normalize our trauma, which blocks our compassion. Like trauma is like really okay for some people, and obviously it's for people. I think it's all of us to a certain degree here or there somewhere in there, in life. But a lot of people think they're thriving in chaos and in their trauma because that's what they're familiar with. That's what they're used to. That's all that they know. You have this is who I am. This is all I know. This is what I'm used to. This is me. Or
Hmm.
or even we push past it for others. I was on the phone with a friend the other day, and she took a work call, and the guy he was kind of, I don't know the guy, but he seemed like he was kind of strong. And when she got off the phone, I was like, are y'all cool, or y'all just gotta work together, so y'all just work together? She was like, nah, he cool. I said, well, why did he talk to you like that? He said his voice sounded a little strong. Oh, that's just who he is. I said, but that doesn't make it okay.
Hmm.
So as long as you're
Hmm.
like that without somebody addressing it,
Hmm.
because sometimes I think we get consumed by the trauma. So it's
Hmm.
just there.
Hmm.
And you might think that you're presenting the nicest thing ever, and your stuff is whack. It's
Yeah.
straight busted. It's
Yeah.
straight busted.
Yeah.
Um, Margaret said, thank you for your comment, Margaret.
Hey, Margaret.
To be
Hey,
compassionate,
Margaret.
you need to be vulnerable, and that opens you up for hurt and disappointment. Ooh, I could read. But in my experience, it opens you to much joy and love that overrides any potential disappointment. Come on, Margaret.
Yeah. Facts.
Now, that's kind of what I was going towards when I said you getting down there that hole, getting in the trench with somebody else who's in the middle of their stuff. You start feeling your you are reminded of your stuff. You are reminded of those feelings and that hurt and that disappointment and that depression that you dealt with at some point during your stuff. It's like opening another band-aid, or ripping off the scab. Um, but there's a healing salve that
That's the
comes
thing.
from being vulnerable.
Yeah.
And you don't get to that unless you are vulnerable. You don't get to the healing unless you have that moment, have those spaces where you can be transparent,
Hmm.
where you can share those feelings. Because part of sitting with somebody else in their dark time and their low moments, is saying, I understand because I've been there,
Mm.
or I'm here. I haven't been
Yeah.
there, but I'm here.
Hmm.
I'm willing to sit here with you, even though I don't know what this is, but I'm gonna feel it with you.
Yeah.
And that feeling it with you sometimes is the hardest part. And we would rather not feel anything than sit with
Mm-hmm.
somebody and feel their stuff.
Yeah. And you know what is so interesting too, you were saying that because the opportunities that we see in Margaret, again, thank you for that. Thank you for that response, because the thing is, you hear people all the time, oh, this triggered me. that triggered me, and we don't want to be triggered. Triggers are not indication that there's something wrong with the people outside of you. It's an indication that there's something in you that needs to heal. So even when you come to this compassionate place and you're sitting with somebody else and it's bringing up your stuff, oh my God, it's bringing up my stuff. It's activating me. I prefer the word activated instead of trigger. It's like it's activating me. Yeah. So now in this moment, then now I actually have or can have or should have, and do air quotes with should because it's 2024 and you can't say should no more. So it's like should have now a partner to heal with. See, your stuff is bringing up my stuff, and now I'm feeling some kind of way. So this is to the surface. If it's bringing up my stuff, that says that somewhere I didn't get complete regarding my stuff. And so now this is an opportunity once again that God has given us. For those of you that prefer the universe has given us to be able to now address what's happening with us, and all the more so beautiful and glorious when it's like I don't have to be alone in it now. I came to suffer with you. And we don't recognize, man, listen, let me tell you something. The power of healing that happens when we don't feel alone, amazing. It's almost as if there was an encoding that happened where just being together, I think you mentioned a balm, Angel, being together is a healing that you don't even have to have had answers to some stuff, but it's that sense of no longer being alone that really has a power in and of itself. That's why I love the true definition of compassion. And when people hear it, they just think that it's like, listen, this ain't for the weak. So why do we think that it's a weakness or that it's a softness? It means to suffer with. All right. And if we can navigate through this and we can put ourselves in a place to suffer with somebody, and again, with the intention to resolve or to come through and to come out. But it's almost like we are given opportunities, and where like Margaret was saying, it can open you up for much joy. What else she said in there? Joy and love that overrides the potential disappointment.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? And I think it's because it's aligned with our authentic self. It's aligned with our spirit self, with our nature self, with the essence of our being.
This is good. This is good. And Marcus thinks so. Uh, Marcus, now we just, we pulling it out now. Every show we try to pull it out and we try to touch on the things that, might, activate or maybe provide a little discomfort, that leads to comfort,
Hmm.
with folks dealing with their stuff. Marcus also said getting into a compassionate space with a friend of mine after our friend died brought me back to the tragic loss of my mother. I had to really deal with my own pain. Being with my friend during that time and being compassionate helped me work through mine as well. Now
Exactly.
our friendship is deeper. Absolutely.
Exactly.
That's that.
Exactly.
Feeling your stuff.
Yeah.
It's
Exactly.
your opportunity to feel your stuff and heal your stuff.
And it
Yeah.
creates so much more room for other stuff that you're not even thinking of. So many more benefits, the stuff that you're not even thinking about.
What he
Yeah.
just
Yeah. Oh, she froze on us.
She's what?
I
What you
said,
say
what did
now?
he say? He said, now our friendship is deeper.
Now our
You didn't
friendship
know
is
that
deep.
was going to happen as a
Right.
result of sitting and feeling your stuff.
Hmm. Hmm.
Mhm.
That's what actually makes our friendships deeper. Like the way to so the answer for loneliness is closeness and connection, right?
Mhm.
Closeness and connection happens through mutual disclosure. Mutual disclosure happens when we are able to be vulnerable, when we're able to be as we are. To some degree, natural connection happens. Again, I'm telling you, it's coded. This is how we're designed. This is love's great design. Like this is the way that we're really made. And so getting back to this way of being is honestly, I'm gonna be bold and say it this way, is honestly the answer for our crazy world. But it's the
Absolutely.
thing that everybody's trying to guard against or protect against. Everybody's trying to, or everybody's running away from, and I understand why. But it's like it doesn't change that this is our design. This is the way we're actually made. So we got to find those safe spaces where we can actually make these connections that we need to make, because that is our healing. I'm gonna go to scripture real quick. Can I go to scripture?
You
It
sure
says,
can.
confess your faults to one another that you may be healed. It didn't say pray first. Now, it did say and pray. that you may be healed. But it says, confess your faults to one another. And faults are not just things you've done wrong or, whatever, but it's just like the fallibleness of humanity. Confess these things one to another that you may be healed.
Period.
We are not a plan B for healing.
Hmm.
Your friendships, your relationships, your connections are not plan B.
That was
God knew what he
encouraging.
was doing. He knew what he was doing. And so the real work is to align to compassion, to execute compassion. But again, we're protected against it because, see, and even this whole idea of protecting against some of these things, it doesn't work. We think it I'm protecting my heart. It's not working though.
No, what
It's
it's
not
doing is
working because
numbing your feelings.
it's numbing you, if that, because you still hurting on the other side of that.
Mhm.
You're still hurting on the other side. We were talking about trust a few weeks ago in a group that I was doing, and I said we try to rebuild trust and intimacy. That was what the group was actually called, rebuilding trust and intimacy, and we try to build trust through through risk management, like having no risks. Let me make sure everything is lined up to where I've vetted these people so much so that I know that they're not going to hurt me. That doesn't exist. It doesn't really
Right.
exist. How we really build trust is to develop your relationship with uncertainty and to develop your relationship with having faith. Now, again, because trust is a choice, you still have to do your due diligence. Don't go stick your hand in the lion's mouth. Understand what a lion will do. It'll chop it off. It'll bite that sucker off. Unless you're one of those people that get to play with lions when they grow up. you know and so the whole thing with compassion is of these are things that they get a negative connotation, or they get a, not even so much to say negative, but they get, like how Bryson was saying in the beginning, they get this weak passive connotation. And it's like, man, this is our strength. This is our strength. Why is it our strength? Because that's our design. And when we align to our design, we've tapped into our divine, and we're able to thrive the way we were actually created to thrive as a species of people, not just one person individually, but as a species of people together, the collective, the whole, moving beyond just self actualization and into self transcendence. So,
That's a word. I hear some water drizzling. Who got some water in the background?
Fish tank.
Somebody got a fish tank or
dang,
something?
you got a
Okay,
saltwater
okay.
tank? She got
Yeah.
an ocean. She got a whole ocean over there. You are
It's a
not a
good
drop
speaker
in the
if he can hear
ocean.
that fish tank over there.
Yeah. I was like, what is drizzling, dripping?
It don't even
I
sound like
think, I
dripping to me.
think,
It sounds like a nice, good old.
yeah, a little flow, a little flow.
Yeah.
I think this is really good. And to all our peeps out here, you see at the bottom in the ticker, if you are comfortable and you feel free and you want to join in, you don't have to stay in this corner in this box. You can come out of the box. You can come out the closet, y'all, and hit this link right here that's going right in front of you,
Yep.
and you can
I would
jump
love to
in and
see some of their faces.
man, I want to see some good looking faces. I want to see some more good looking faces. So feel free to do so. Now make sure when you do that, that your volume, that your background is quiet, that Pookie and Bam Bam and them are not loud, and you don't have the football game up on 100 like I had on 100 when I first got on here.
Make
I'm
sure
talking
you
to myself.
dress. Make sure you
Make sure you got
dress.
on some clothes.
Make sure your hair combed. You ain't got to have on no clothes, but make sure your hair combed.
Please,
Oh,
yeah,
my
you
bad.
really don't have to have on no clothes, but don't have on no bonnet though. Okay,
You could.
don't have on no
If
bonnet.
it look better than
Don't
what's
have on no
under the
bonnet.
bonnet, go ahead. That's
Don't
cool.
don't have on no bonnet. I
Come as
think
you are.
is there one? Is there one?
The doors of the chat are
Of the
open.
show is open.
Yes, of the show. The doors of the show are open. I think trauma is an ugly beast. It's such an ugly beast, man, and it creates so much negativity for so many people because you're scared. Because you're scared and you establish all of these boundaries and these walls, and you know you've done that because of your trauma, but establishing those boundaries and those walls in that fashion you working so hard on doing that and protecting yourself or
That's where all
guarding
your energy
yourself,
is going.
that's where all your energy's going. And in the meantime, because you got these walls up so high, you blocking your blessings
Yeah.
because you won't trust. And like you said, Lee, sitting in the face and in relationship with uncertainty, because you got to. We live in, right? We live in every single day. It just
Hmm.
is what it is. We are living. So just I think, getting a hold of that, and learning not to self sabotage because we're worried about where our feelings will be, or if it's soft, or the vulnerability part of it. I think this will be a good start to 2024 for many, and
Yeah.
it's an ongoing process. It never dies. You'll
Hmm.
heal from certain parts, certain areas, um, certain hurts, you know, um, but it's ongoing. It's
Hmm.
ongoing, forever. And I think a lot I've seen, and I've probably experienced, directly and indirectly, and then, personally, in past years where, the traumas come about and they're there and they're present because, many are still dealing with, what the old folks called was, generational curses.
Hmm.
Not being able to break down what granddad did or what grandma did or what mom, was, more of a provider than a nurturer, or more of a nurturer, but not such a great provider, whatever the case may be. Whatever dad did, whatever happened, in the third grade. Um, it's about, trying to break these things down and dismissing them. But you have to, in order to I think break these generational curses, these traumas, you have to embrace that compassion. It all
Yeah.
ties back in together.
Yeah.
What do
I,
you guys, what are your thoughts on that? Go ahead.
I have a phrase that I've been saying lately. It's like our hearts don't heal under judgment. See, that's that protecting that whatever is a judgment in so many ways, and hiding ourselves behind these measures that we've had come into play. Like even that protective thing, that protection is a trauma response. It's a traumatic response. So it's not it looks like a virtue, or the way we talk about it, we say, oh, I'm protecting my heart, I'm guarding I'm protecting my energy, and it's like, listen to the spirit behind that and the energy behind it. But I've been saying hearts don't heal under judgment, they need compassion for that. And
Mm-hmm.
so if we're going to truly heal from the traumatic things that have happened in our life, we have to be able to honestly withstand some degree of triggering
Mm-hmm.
triggering you know but again, in safe spaces. You being activated or you being triggered is an indication to run, at least not to run away. It's indication to run into it with your now maturity and with your community, with who you
Mm-hmm.
found that you can actually expose to. Even in relationships, people get in a relationship with somebody and then they get activated and they feel like, oh, this person, we're incompatible, and they just keep at. Well, have you told them? Not have you told them to, hey, cater to my triggers. Have you told them, oh, when you do that, that brings up something for me, can you share this space with me? Can you
Mm-hmm.
empathize with what I feel? I'm not asking you because you didn't just do something to me. That brought up something in me that happened. That brought up in me a wound that happened years ago, possibly when I was a child. And I'm just notifying you because I want to hold myself accountable. I want to be accountable to the relationship. I want you to be able to be responsible with my heart. But can you walk with me through this? That's a soft spot for me. I'm not asking you to cater to me and to not do such and such necessarily, depending on what the thing is. I'm asking you to figuratively or maybe even literally hold me in this space and help me process through this as best as I possibly can, at least until I can get to my therapist or whoever I need to get to. That's if professional help is needed. But
Right.
sometimes we don't give each other the opportunity to be compassionate because we don't want to show our vulnerability. And until we show that vulnerability, you are not known. And then so you can't complain that nobody's loving you. You can't complain that no one's really taking care of you if you never even open up to expose your heart. And then if you say, for instance, you're on the other side and you don't have the kind of mentality and philosophy to be able to sit with people when they're going through, not come in to fix their problem, but to actually just sit with them and hear them, then you too, we're not working together in this.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let whoever wants to handle that handle.
How do we truly?
That's a great question, Greg, and that's in the raw. That's in the raw. That's a great question.
How do we truly heal from past hurts? Generally speaking, we have to grieve what that was. When we look at what that wound is, even trauma, the word trauma means wound. All right. I don't know if people realize that. The word trauma actually means wound. And it's not what happened to you. That's not the trauma. All right. The trauma is not what happened to you, but what's happening in you because of what happened to you. All right. I'll say it again. So trauma is the word trauma means wound, and it's what happened in you. It's what's happening in you because of what happened to you. All right. Because some things can, which is good news. This is good news for people who are facing past hurts and traumas and wounds. That's how I take the word hurt. Just facing these particular wounds. Um, the reason that that's good news is because if trauma is what happened to you, you cannot go back and change the past. So that means that you would be stuck. All right. But because it's what's happening in you, there's hope. So now I need to go back to looking at what is this that's happening in me. One of the first things that I say when people say that they're hurt, and I start so now let's give hurt a voice. When that thing happened to you, whatever that thing was, when that thing happened to you, what pulled you away from your most authentic self? What was it? What's the wound? Give hurt a voice right now. People start to talk. I felt like I didn't matter. I felt like I was insignificant. I felt unloved. I felt, blah 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 blah. And so when we go to that level, we're not going to heal hurt with intellectual communication or with intellectual thought alone, especially. It's the same thing with grief. Yeah, I know I do the whole grief recovery work or whatever. So it's like we try to process through grief intellectually, and that's where you find people still stuck. Grief is an
Hmm.
emotional process. Hurt is speaking to the emotions that are there. So it's an emotional process. How do I heal from past hurt? Well, what happened to you emotionally when that went down? What was it that wounded you? What was it that caused you to have to erect a personality to protect you? What is it now that had to, so looking at that, processing what it is that you really felt, and then ending the relationship with that pain. Right. And I'm saying it's kind of fast in some senses, but it's like ending the relationship with that pain, saying bye to that energy after I've acknowledged it, after I've gone to it, after I've given the heart a voice. I didn't just name the emotion to say, oh, I'm sad or I'm hurt. I actually gave it a whole voice. Let's talk then. And let's keep the conversation in the emotional realm. Let's drop from here, from head to here, to heart.
Hmm.
Let your heart talk. When you let your heart talk, and then you willingly decide to say, after the heart has said everything that is needed to say, then I say bye bye to that pain. And then I move forward. I'm able to move forward in my life. So I've released the pain of that thing. And again, some of it takes work. It takes work and really kind of getting all of that undelivered emotional communication out, and then actually saying bye to that. But it generally helps when you're actually with someone that can actually walk you through that, and you release it. And then sometimes you have to go back and remind yourself, oh, I forgave that thing, or I gave that, or if somebody hurt you, I forgave them. Or if it was
Hmm.
some situation where you needed to apologize for something, or situations where, those kind of things. So it's like, and again, like I said, there's more steps. Not really more steps, but there's more to it. If I was actually walking somebody through grief recovery or something like that, or counseling, we would actually really go through the deep steps of that. But that's what has to happen.
Yeah, yeah. No, yeah, that's real good. And I think when you were just talking, that head to heart really, really stood out to me. And I think that sometimes, most times, people who are dealing with these things, It's even a different process in the brain, right? Because in the back of our brain is where we hold our defense mechanisms, right? Our fight or flight, or our where we got our walls up. Whereas in the front, we have our more,
Amygdala.
yeah, yep. And we in the front we have, our more emotional standpoint. So you got to stop the battle in the brain first, between those two, and then allow it to flow to the heart.
Hmm. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. And again, is that huge piece we got to get. We have to you're gonna process those things emotionally, not just intellectually. Oh, I should just get over it. People hurt people. All kind of intellectual phrases that that we use to just get over it,
Right.
and we never really truly processed it all emotionally. So guess where it's at? It's sitting in there. It's still sitting in there. And for some people, this has been amazing to see. That's why your back hurting.
Huh. Because it's taking over your body,
The body keeps the score.
literally, physically.
The body keeps the score.
I'm reading
Yep.
that book.
Are you?
Courtesy. Yep.
Let me know what it's about because I
Miss
ain't read it.
Jocelyn. Get it and get the hardcover. Miss
Mm,
Jocelyn recommended this book to me a few months back, and I went and got that hardcover and started reading it. And it is
mm,
amazing. Um, the stories and the accounts of people and their trauma, right? And how it has manifested as physical pain in the body that we hold on to. And it
yep.
lingers for
Undelivered
years.
emotional, my bad. Undelivered emotional communication, undelivered emotional aspects of our life weakens our immune system, literally.
Mhm.
Literally.
Wonder why you sick all the time?
Mhm.
You might want to
Absolutely.
You may be carrying
address
around
the
a bunch of
trauma
stuff. Yep.
that
Yep.
you've been trying to push down and not really deal with. That's
Mental affects the
you always got a
physical.
cold. You the first one to get the flu every year. Mm,
Mhm. Yeah.
Hmm.
mm. What
And it's
happened when
and
you were 12?
yeah, yeah. And it's just a and listen, folks, it's an emotional wound that has happened. So some of us, especially in our community, we don't want to call it trauma. And some things ain't trauma like the way we think of, yeah, this big traumatizing, whatever, but we've all been wounded to some degree.
Right.
All right. And we've all had some disappointments. We've had some heartaches and some heartbreaks. And we've been taught our whole life how to acquire stuff. And we haven't been taught what to do when we lose. When we lose something or lose someone or any of those things. So then we don't process it that way. We just call our girlfriend, have her come over, and she say, "You don't need that Negro, no way,
Hmm.
girl. You right." All right. So what we did right there was we didn't keep the heart flowing in the way that the heart was designed to flow. We hardened it so you can get out the bed.
No,
But walking around, yeah, either numb, which makes you cold, which makes you not want to be compassionate with other people.
mm-hmm.
How many times have you numbed, or how many times have you gone to some type, we call them in grief recovery, we call them short-term energy relieving behaviors, and that can be anything that we do, substances, shopping, sex, whatever. How many times have you gone to something instead of processing what you feel emotionally, you've gone to something to soothe you instead of emotional processing, you've gone to something to soothe you, and now that's how you tell other people. The best way to get over somebody is get under somebody else. The best way to get over it, let's go have a drink. Oh, you need to
Right.
drink. You need a drink, or you need to smoke, or you need a what? You need to depend on substance, not your heart.
Mm.
And so we become incompassionate people or discompassionate because of our way of having dealt with our issues. And look, I'm fine. I'm over that. What I'm saying, I'm over that. How you know you're over your ex when you don't feel nothing? Think about what you just said. I'm over them when I don't feel nothing. But you're human. Humans are designed to feel. Hearts are designed to feel. And I'm over them when I don't feel nothing. That's not healing. That's called hardness. That's not vulnerability. And that hinders your ability to be compassionate when others are going through it. You can't be empathetic with them because you're not even being empathetic with you.
Hmm. 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 But if they're holding that same space that you're holding, within that trauma. Like you said, gotta get under to get over, or let's go have a drink, or he ain't mean nothing to you, no way. Yeah, trauma bonding, right?
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Because you
At its best.
implementing, you putting your mess kind of in with my mess, and we just messing together,
Messy.
just
Messy.
messy,
Just
just
messy.
dirty, dirty,
Messy.
messy. And I think trauma bonding goes is always looked over. I think
It
because
is. Because
we
it
call it
sounds so. Go ahead.
support, right?
Mhm.
I'm rocking with you. What you want to do, friend? I got you. What you need? Let's go, friend. What we doing?
Yeah.
And we think it's support, right? But when BS meets BS, it's still BS, right?
Stank.
P-U, P-U, pew, pew, pew. Pew, pew, pew. How do we let's talk on the differences.
Did that answer? Did that answer Greg's question? Was
Greg, you
that
good?
or was that helpful?
I hope it helped me, and it wasn't even my question.
Say if it didn't help him, too bad, Greg.
I
No,
mean,
I'm just playing.
no. Oh man, Marcus, we're taught to acquire, but we're not taught to lose. You harden your heart so you can get out of bed. He said, bro. Pew.
It's what we do because we got to pay the bills.
Thank you,
I still
Greg.
got to go to work tomorrow. I still got to whatever. So our thing is, let me just figure out how to get out the bed,
Mm-hmm.
and or with our friends. That's our idea of compassion. No, man, that ain't healing nobody's heart. That's what you said, Bryce. It's trauma meets trauma. Not trauma is meeting a healing balm, and now we're healing bonding, which is what compassion could be.
Mhm.
We're trauma bonding, and we walking around popping our collar, baby, because we thought we done did it,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it's gonna come back up.
Let's speak on the fine line of trauma bonding and versus support. Because
Oh,
come on, Tamika, with this.
listen,
What is
I'm
this,
like, whoa, wait
Tamika?
a minute. Maybe
What
we'll
she
come
say?
back to that.
We'll
What she
come.
say?
Yeah, no, put that. Oh, I can. Yeah, thank you. Some people,
Just the
Tamika
first
says,
piece.
go ahead, Lee.
Just that first piece right there is right. I mean, that's
Yeah.
our biggest fear that of judgment, because underlying a lot of the behaviors that we see in our world is shame. So this whole piece of we're afraid we're going to be judged, but some people won't talk because of judgment.
How do you pin this? How do you pin Tamika? How do you Tamika? You just said a whole.
It's pinned. It's pinned in the on the Facebook at least.
Oh,
Mm.
okay.
Some people don't talk because of judgment because they are afraid of being vulnerable around those they're not sure of whether or not they can trust anyone with their vulnerable self. Too many times, talking, taking what girl? What that say? Talking turned into what wrong about you instead of leading to an ear. Yep,
Mm-hmm.
yep. We say what's wrong with you instead of saying what's happening to you, what happened to you, what's going on in you. So they swallow hard, hold feelings in, not knowing who they can be, not knowing they can be their authentic self, who they can be their authentic self around. Being their true self around those they can be vulnerable around is truly an outlet. And the same time, at the same time, some people show their true. I don't see the rest of it, y'all.
Self.
How
Yes, and that's
so?
self.
Show their true self.
Yeah,
Okay.
wouldn't let me see the rest either. Was there more? What
Yeah, I
is?
think it was more.
How do you?
See their true self. I'm trying to look on the book. Y'all, we're not in like in Facebook. We're in
Mhm.
a uh
Because Tamika, you speaking a good word here.
self. I can't even find where I ended up with self. Till their true self. When the mask comes, and now starting from square one, an emotional roller coaster that keeps going.
Okay.
Okay. That authentic self, and that's what happens in trauma. When we're traumatized, the authentic self ends up getting retracted, and some type of personality, all right, some type of personality or ego is erected to thinking it's protecting this authentic self. But it's getting back to that most authentic self. That's where the vulnerability lies. Is getting back to that most authentic self and allowing it to speak that heals us. That's where your healing is. That's what healing from trauma is. Healing from trauma is not forgetting what has happened, is not taking away what has happened. It's now returning everything back to that sense of oneness with my most authentic self to be able to say, "Oh, I took a hit, but I got this. I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good. Ooh, that bothers me though." Like it's not going to stop you from being sad about something. You're going to be like, "Oh yeah, that makes me sad when I see that." It should. But it says I'm holding on to myself. I got me. It didn't hit me and separate me from me.
Mm-hmm.
Wound me so much that now it separated me from me. And now I'm hiding behind this wall or being hidden behind this wall. But yeah, we're afraid of judgment. We're afraid of that judgment. That was good. Tamika, that almost sounded like some therapist stuff.
Yeah, she jammed. She jammed.
Mm.
I'm sorry, I'm reading this note that I got
Yeah.
from Instagram.
Yeah,
That's
you can
okay.
only be live for an hour, and then you gotta rejoin,
Mm-hmm.
or
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
reconnect it.
on Instagram.
Yeah, on Instagram, gotta reconnect it some kind of way. Something that Tamika took me back to something you sent me, LeAnzar, and I'm pulling it up because I actually wrote it down. That last video you sent me, where the guy was talking about covenant relationship, and when I think of the word healing, I think of the word peace often
Hmm.
because it's peace within your spirit, it's peace within your body, it's peace in your mind. I think peace when I think healing. And this
Hmm.
particular video was talking about peace. He said it's not okay to not be at peace. The fundamental purpose of covenant relationship before love, peace with each other. When you look at someone, you just calm down and you relax. Like, finally, I'm in a safe place. Finally, this is a place where I'll be dignified. I won't be humiliated. I won't be reminded of my past mistakes. I'm completely at ease because I'm in the presence of them, whoever
Hmm.
that them is. And if that's not there, that's something that needs to be there. And if you can't get there on your own, you need to get some outside help, professional
Hmm.
help. When you don't have that peace, you're actually passing chaos down to the next generation.
Yes.
I sat and wrote that down from that video that you sent
Hmm.
me. Um,
Powerful.
and
Powerful.
you want to substitute for covenant relationship, substitute friendship, substitute marriage, substitute your partner, whoever that them is for you is supposed to be the agent of peace. And if you're not getting that peace, you got to find out how to get it. So she's talking about not knowing who you can trust, not being sure whether or not you could trust them with being vulnerable. That is what them is supposed to represent. The one place you can be at peace, not humiliated, dignified, safe place. If you're not getting that, that's the wrong them, or you need some kind of extra professional help to make them and you align so that that peace is present.
Yeah. And the word
When you
peace,
think, when
you
you
know,
think healing, think peace.
the word shalom, peace, shalom.
Mm-hmm.
It means
Nothing
it's
broken,
nothing missing, nothing
nothing
missing.
lacking.
You know. And so in that sense, it is, and nothing missing, nothing broken. The word healing means wholeness.
Thank you.
All right. So it means wholeness. This is also where we get the word integrity. It's also where we get oneness from. That's what all of these words are really deeply associated, and basically translate in some sense as the same thing. And one of the things though too in this, and this is my practice or what I'm trying to make my practice. When you don't find peace in the world, you are a producer of it. All right. So this is the part that gets hard. Peace is a fruit of your spirit. So are you in line enough with your spirit and your authentic self to produce peace that I bring when I come to talk to Angel. Now, Angel may not be doing her peace work. Then I recognize, oh, she's on a different page. So I guess I do got to go somewhere else because she's not coming. She's not coming with peace, and she's not picking up on my peace that I'm bringing to her, because I'm coming to her, even though I'm in distress, I'm coming and I'm just all over the place. I'm not coming with peace.
Mm.
I'm looking for her to give it to me. And if that's this is it's a reciprocal thing. It has to be, you still, I don't care what you're going through, you have the ability to produce peace.
Mhm.
That because it's a fruit of your, again, fruit of your spirit. Not your personality might be all over the place. You may be feeling all kind of, whatever, and feel dysregulated and this is that and the other, but that's where that's tapping into our most innermost being and producing that peace.
You were
All right.
born with it.
We are born with it. And we don't think that. See, we don't believe that stuff though. We don't really believe that. We feel like, oh, even like, look at the comments, the way we protected my peace. It ain't yours to protect technically.
It's a
It's
fruit.
it's ours. It's all of ours when we came from the same source, but we have this illusion of separation. So that's a whole nother show. But it's like, I have to produce peace. I've had a lot of people come in and say, it's something when I come and talk to you, it feels different. I say that's because I generally am trying to embody what peace is in some situations. That to me is equal to being love for you, being all of these different things.
Mhm.
It's like I basically try to embody peace. You know, I'm not waiting for you to give it to me. It's something that I come in. And do I get my feelings hurt sometimes? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. You run into folk that ain't on peace. They ain't on the peace journey. They on the just bust them in the head journey, or whatever the case may be, or the judgment journey, or the criticism journey. And we have to ask people sometimes to stop, the same way you would have to do with yourself, to stop some people and say, okay, you're being very judgmental right now. What is it that you're really trying to get me to do? Oh, okay, you're trying to get me to love myself. Okay, but guess what? The way you're doing it is not helping. You're only making me shrink.
Mm.
You're intimidating me with your judgment. You're not helping me see me. You're not helping me. If I can just help you see you, if I can just help you see your authentic self and not your trauma and not your drama, that's all I'm doing in counseling, folks. When I'm sitting with people in counseling sessions and on these support groups and all I'm trying to do is to help you see you, because I got sense enough to know that I can't fix you. When you see your most authentic self, and you stop looking through the lens of trauma, stop looking through the lens of broken relationships, stop looking through the lens of hurt and pain, and stop looking through the lens of your molestation and your violations, and you see your most authentic self, not your personality that you've gotten familiar with, but your most authentic self, all of your wisdom, the well springs of life, is it. Guard your heart, authentic self, with diligence, for from it flows the well springs of life, the wisdom for life, the goodness for life, the how to navigate life, the peace of life, the love, the joy, the long suffering, the gentleness, the kindness of life.
That's it. That's it. Lee, you always somehow end up inadvertently giving a benediction, in the most dynamic way. And it's
It's
always,
wonderful to watch.
yeah, yeah, you always, and that's why I always come back. I'd be like, that's it.
Mm,
We've done what we're supposed to do today.
Mhm.
This is excellent. Thank you so much to
mm.
everybody. Y'all went off in these comments today, and we are super grateful. Tamika,
Yeah,
Marcus, Jocelyn, Greg. Thank you guys so much. Margaret, thank you so much for just being present and being vulnerable, right?
real talk.
And sharing and just being transparent and just vibing out with us. And we never know what we put on here, how will impact somebody. People watch this, they might watch it later. It gets hits from different areas, different type of things. So we never know. Let's work on that as well, being looking beyond ourselves and sharing, you know not just for our benefit, but for the benefit of others. And you guys did an amazing job, with your support today and your unselfishness in the comments and stuff like that. So we appreciate y'all, man.
We
We
really do.
appreciate y'all so
Real
much.
talk.
And if
And
you
we
get
love, we
something out
really
of
want
it,
to go ahead,
please,
Angel.
yeah, if you got something out of it, please share it. Just throw it up. Tell somebody else, watch this. We want to make sure that other people are hearing the message. We're talking about what nobody wants to talk about.
Mhm.
We hitting the ugly subjects and ripping off band-aids and trying to stitch up some wounds and throw a little salve on it. So if you felt something way down in your shondo, share it with somebody else.
Yep.
Because you
And
might be the agents of their healing that they need
absolutely. And your own.
and your own.
Huh.
It's a further
Some
journey
feelings
to
gonna come up.
yep. And it's we would love to see, we're trying to make it interesting, trying to make it more interesting. So if y'all want to come on screen, that's where we have that link there. So you can, we love you talking in the chat. But if you want to come on screen, like if it's something where you want to really kind of really just put it out there, workshop it, say it to us directly so that we don't y'all see how long it took me to read. So
We was like,
that,
what else do
you
it
know,
say?
what
What
it
else? I'm
say?
clicking on the screen. I'm
What that
clicking.
word?
Oh,
Swallow.
that
Have
was
you
good.
ever been swallowed? Like,
Well,
erase that, cut that out, take that out. But the other thing is, like I
Lie.
said, like come on screen and do it. Come on screen and talk about it if you feel ever feel comfortable in doing that. But also the other thing is, and why it's a good reason to share these kind of spaces, we're just trying to create one of the spaces where we talk about there being no compassion in the world, no spaces in the world, and we're just trying to make the space. And I think the more communities, the more spaces that is, our show ain't the only one that's out here, I'm sure, but the more spaces like this we create, we can shift the culture, or we can shift our culture, right? Whatever our means, meaning your own little circle of influence.
Mhm.
All right. So yeah, that's just my 2 cents on that.
any closing remarks for the both of you? What's coming up for you? What's going on? Whatever you'd like the people to stay in tune with you, go for it. Miss Simmons.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say, she's so
Let's see
popular,
what
she's
I got
so
coming
famous
up.
and busy.
I'm just saying, you can go to angelsimmons.com and you can grab an autographed copy of Love's Great Design and Target of Love. If you want a digital, you got to go on Amazon for that. You can grab, a shirt, hoodies, some other things that are on there. I will be back on screen Monday next week, 29th, with Mentality. Uh,
Awesome.
with me and Chrissy, we'll be talking about mental health, all things mental health related. You can catch us at 8 p.m. Central on Mentality. Um, I just did 2 live storytelling shows. So I was at the French Room on Thursday night, and I was at 20 by 2 Sunday night. So if you follow those pages, you can go check them out. There will be some recordings somewhere at some point if you want to hear what happened on stage those nights. But that's all I got going on for this month.
And I don't got nothing going on. Hey, listen. I ain't got nothing going on this month, other than I do have some of I lead support groups, um, and things like that. And I just kind of want to put that out there a little bit. I have three video support groups right now that are ongoing. People always say, "Hey, I can't afford therapy. I can't afford counseling. I can't afford whatever. It's too expensive." Well, getting the support group is a lot cheaper. All right. And it's sometimes a lot more effective, sometimes depending on what it is. But I got 3 groups right now. One is for grief, the loss of a loved one. That's on Tuesdays. If you're interested, I'll just say the date. You can reach out to me, let me know. And it's they $80 a month. All right. For the whole month, you just pay $80 for that month. So that's like $20 a week. All right. For these groups. But there's Tuesday is grief, dealing with the loss of a loved one. Wednesdays is navigating through separation or divorce. So if you got a breakup that you're trying to navigate through, or you got divorced and trying to figure out how to get through that, a good group of people are in this group, and they're a really good group. so they can be supportive for you in that, because we don't get emotional support and we really need that. And then
Yeah.
on Thursdays, I have a group called Navigating High Conflict Relationships, and that's any kind of relationship. So it can be work, it can be family, it can be a significant other, it can be your doggone self. All right. So have those two groups going on. And also on this app called Circles, I do you know a master class on Fridays. I host the master class and I have a special guest that's there on Fridays, but you have to download the app for that, the Circles app, so you can reach out and ask me about that too, or check some of my socials. Those things be on there. So I'm hosting that master class every Friday at 2 p.m. Pacific time, 5 p.m. Eastern time, exclusively on the app. All right. Other than that, nothing much going on right now. I think that I can think about this coming up. Yeah.
Okay. All right. And if you guys want to connect with them, LeAnzarStockley.com, AngelSimmons.com. Straight to the point. Boom, bam, bam.
Bam.
Social media. Oh, that's my social media. So if you fool with me, you can check me out at the bottom, the original Brysen, Sweet Spot Media. We definitely appreciate all of your support, all of your participation, and to my two geniuses, this is going to be a great year for this show. I'm excited to see what this year is going to bring. I'm glad to be in the number.
Glad to be in the number. Glad to be in the number. Glad to be in the number. One more time. That ain't the words to that song, is
It's glad
it?
to
It is
be in the
tonight.
service,
Glad
but
to
it
be in
is. Make it work. Make it work.
I ain't been to church in a while, y'all. I'm looking for a nice church that has good, solid worship, that has a Christ-centered, love-based message, and
That you can wear your head.
that allows neurodivergent gentlemen to wear their caps in church. That's the part where I just can't.
So if y'all got a church home lately, no.
In
No.
Vegas.
In Vegas.
He want to wear his hat to church.
Progressive though, y'all. I think just looking for, just recognize within myself the spaces where I miss that fellowship. I miss that worshiping with, because I do it on my own, but I miss that worshiping with. It's just, you know what I mean?
Thank you all for tuning in to the show. Thanks for the likes. Thanks for the loves. We really appreciate the shares. So go ahead and do that. We never know, like we said, we don't know who this goodness will meet. So hit that share button. Tell somebody about it, word of mouth, whatever. Pull somebody else in with you next month when we're on.
For sure.
Have a good evening.
Good evening, folks. Peace. Holla.